What's up YouTube, Jim from Flippin' Jim TV here. I'm going to make a quick tutorial video on how to use the crafting stations in the Elder Scrolls Online. I've had a lot of questions about it. When I'm streaming and I'm jumping in there to craft something, I tend to do it fairly quickly and people don't understand exactly what I've done. So I'm going to slow it down, run through the crafting process and explain how to do it. When you first go into the crafting stations, you are presented with a tutorial, but it's pretty much a wall of text and most people will just hit next and move on, and then they're a bit confused as to what they have to do. So I'm going to slow it down, run through it, and hopefully that can help a few people out. So let's get into it. Alright, here I am at a woodworking station. My character here is a Templar healer. He uses a restoration staff, so I generally do a lot of woodworking for my crafting. I use light armor, so I don't do any blacksmithing, because that'll make your heavy armor and your swords and your maces and axes, things like that. So if we first click on the woodworking station, you'll see we have our tabs across the top. So we've got our Refine, Create, Deconstruct, Improvement and Research. And then you'll also see under some of the tabs there are sub items here. So we've got Weapon and Armor, Apparel, sorry. So that's your armor, in this case shield. So if we start off with the Refine, as you're out there questing and exploring the world, you'll come along materials on the ground. For woodworking, it's generally like, bits of wood under a tree, and you don't need to go off and buy an axe or something to get them first. You can just walk up to them, press E, and it'll automatically pick up the materials for all your blacksmithing stuff. You do some mining, and you don't need to go off and buy a pickaxe. You've already, you've got it with you anyway. So you can collect the items for all of the professions, even if you are not specializing in them. So you don't have to rush off and buy something, an axe to get the timber and a pickaxe for the ore, and things like that. So once you've got your rough material, and I don't have 10 of any of them, but you need a minimum of 10. So if we had an extra 2 maple here, we double click maple, we just put it here, another button would come up to refine it, and it would do that, and then you're left with sanded maple. So the sanded version is the refined version of all of these. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, most people get this far. Then you hit on the creation button. Now here is where you will actually craft an item. It depends on what you want to do. You can create, in the woodworking section, a bow, various destruction staffs, the fire, lightning and the frost staff, and then the restoration staff. So we'll make a restoration staff. I'm a healer, so I'll probably use this soon. So you select the item that you want to make it out of, the material. So you've got, I'm only at a level 22, so I've only got the 2 items here that I can use. So my sanded maple will only take me up to level 14. Okay. If I want to make something of a higher level, I need to go up to the new material set, and the more of the material I use, the higher the level goes up. So I'm 22, so I'll make a level 22 item. Down here under style, you have I have 2. You always have the style of the race you are. I'm a Breton, so I can always make Breton stuff. I've also picked up a book called the Argonian Racial Motif, and that allows me to to make things, in the Argonian style. Now you do need these rock things to actually make them, but you won't have access to them unless you have learnt the racial motif. So one thing on that, if you have learnt a style from a book, and in the books you pick up throughout the world, don't then go into a guild store and buy these, because you will get ripped off. All vendors, and there's a vendor nearby every working station, will sell these for you. So here's the vendor here. We have a chat.
It sure is a fine time to be a worker of wood.
And there they are. So, you know, 15 gold for a flint thing, and that's to make that's to make in the Argonian style. So I've already got a few, so I don't need to buy any more. But just to keep that in mind, that, you know, you'll always find a vendor nearby, and you can make you can pick those up. And all that does is change the way it looks. So you'll see the Argonian has the loop at the top, and the Breton has that that spear type looking thing. Doesn't affect what it does, how it operates in any way. So it's just a style thing. Down the bottom, there's the trait. Now these are researched from weapons that you've already got. That you'll pick up a weapon that has this trait, and you will research it, and you destroy that weapon, but you pick up how to use that trait. And then you need these crystal things, various you know, amethyst here and whatnot, and each one will give you a different trait. So the the amethyst here increases enchantment charges by 17, and the trait is called charged. So you'll see here that that's, you know, my weapon is charged. This one here, it's powered, okay, and it reduces the cooldown of weapon enhancements by 30%. So there's a whole bunch to learn, and they're all under the research tab. Alright, so I've only learnt powered and charged, but there's precise, infused, defending, blah blah blah. There's a whole bunch. Now we'll cover that in a bit more detail in a second, but you need to pick up a weapon with these items on there, with these traits on there, and then pretty much destroy that weapon to research that trait. Once you've done that, you can then use it on that particular weapon. Now, it is important to note that if I learn charged, for example, on the restoration staff, that does not mean I will have it on my lightning staff. So you'll see I don't have it here. I have powered because I also learnt powered. So each individual weapon type, you will have to research each trait on its own. So don't think that you can research a restoration staff through the whole lot and then you can apply that to anything in the woodworking tree. You can't. Okay. So if I make I'll make it in the Breton style, and I'll make it charged, and we're using 7 of them to make it level 22. Okay, and then we press R to craft it. There we go. So if I check my inventory, there it is there. Okay, so that is actually I'm actually using a lightning staff at the moment, but if I switch out my weapons, there we go. So I've actually made one already. So you'll notice that this one here is, my current one is green, and the one I just made is just white, and I'll show you how we go about improving it. So we've made our weapon. Now we can do a couple things. So we can deconstruct a weapon. Okay. What deconstructing does is it tries to extract some useful materials from the weapon. When you do that, it destroys it. So you have a choice. You can either, as you're questing, you pick up a whole bunch of weapons and whatnot. You can just take them to a vendor and sell them, get the money. Or if you need materials, you can go here and deconstruct them. So what we will do, I have some white ones. Now the white ones are the low level. They're not. They don't have any really special abilities on them or anything like that. So you generally sell these because you don't even get much out of them by deconstructing them. But I do have this, and I'm not going to. See, that's one I created earlier. You see there, it's created by me. And it's level 24, so I'm just holding on to that one. But let's just deconstruct one of these other ones. So you double click it, put it in the deconstruction section, and then hit R, and there you go. So out of that, I've extracted some sanded oak, which is the raw material. What you might get when you do deconstruct these things, and again, there's a sub tab for the armor. You might get these items here. So these are resins. Now what you do with resins is you upgrade your weapon. So if we put in the restoration stuff we created, I have 3 of the item pitch. Okay, and you'll see as I increase the number, it increases my chance of success. Now this is quite tough because if you try and improve a weapon and you don't have enough of these items and the chance isn't high, or even at 60%, you've still got 40% chance of it failing. If it fails, you will lose the weapon. It destroys the weapon. So it's all well and good now because I just created that, and you know, I'm not too fussed. I don't really need it, and I can create another one. But if this was, if we put this item here, right, it's already green, so we got to go from green to blue. To use that, we need this item here, turpin, and that's harder to get, right? So it's a lot harder to get, and each one gives you a 15% chance, right? So to make it 100%, I need 7 of them to ensure that that will upgrade to a purple item. So there's your tree. It goes from white to fine, which is green, superior blue, epic, which is purple, and legendary, which is yellow. So to actually upgrade a weapon, it's quite difficult. And you know, if you just give it a crack at 15%, the chances are you're gonna destroy your weapon. However, you know, that's the way it's done. To get all of these resins, you need to deconstruct items. That's the only way. You can get them also from a hireling, which we'll talk about in a second, but the main way is to deconstruct weapons. So that's where you get your resins from, and that's how you also upgrade your items. Let's try and upgrade this weapon. So I don't really want to waste my pitch, and I don't need this weapon, so I'm only going to try it with 1. You know, so there's a 20% chance this will work. And it tells you here when you try, you have a 20% chance. You know, if this attempt fails, the staff will be destroyed in the process. Are you sure? So it does warn you. So let's give it a crack. There you go. It actually works. So you see when it glows blue, that tells you it worked. If it glows red, that would be a failure. So there you go. Now what it's done is it has increased our damage. And it has increased our value, I believe. So keep an eye on that. Damage 51, level 22, value 40. If we go to create, so it's damage 45 and value is 38. So it's increased it, the damage by 5 and the value by 2. So yeah. Sorry, no, the damage by 6. So it was 45, now it's 51. Okay, now if I was to improve it again and make it superior, those stats go up. What happened? Also, our trade has increased as well. So it was 17%, and now it has gone up to 19%. We can also enchant our weapons. Now, I don't know if the enchantment also gets improved. That's something I'll have to look at. But, so there you go, that's how you improve a weapon. Just keep in mind that it's a lot harder to get these materials. I'm level 22, and there you go, I've only got 1 of these items here to go from superior to epic. And I don't even have any to go from fine to superior, so I can't make this a blue item. But I could make it, potentially, from blue to purple. But I've only got 1, so there's a very low chance it'll work. Now let's cover the research. So we sort of touched on it. You'll see that I have a few of these already done. All the unknowns, I obviously haven't done them yet. Unfortunately, I don't have a weapon that I can, a trait that I can research at the moment. What is important to know is that each research item takes a long time. It starts off at 6 hours. So in a tree that I haven't done any, so I've done 1 in each. So a bow, I don't think I've researched any bows. If I find a bow that has a charged trade on it and I attempt to research it, it will take 6 hours. If I get another bow and it has precise on it, that will take 12 hours because it's the second one. So it keeps going up and up and up. It takes a very long time, and you can only do one research item at a time. So if I'm researching a bow and then I find a healing staff which has sharpened, for example, and I want to research that, I have to wait for the other one to finish. One item at a time, and you know, it does take a long time. Let's have a quick look at the skill points, because this can affect what you create. So under crafting, if we look at woodworking, there's a few that you have to do if you want to be a woodworker. Alright, so the woodworking trade here lets you upgrade the material you can use. So at first I can only use the maple, and after that I'm sort of stuck. And maple will take me up to, I think this was level 14 that we saw. You may have noticed that the oak that I'm currently using, is it the oak? No. What am I using at the moment? Construction. Yeah, the sanded oak. It will only go up to level 24, and that's it. So I need to learn the next item, which is beech. Now I've collected beech, so I'm in areas where I'm actually picking up this material, and I've got 16 of it, but I haven't learnt the ability to use it, and that is under the crafting skill tree. So if I do that, see, so it lets me go, I'm currently on, allows me to use sanded oak, to allows you to use sanded beech. So I don't need it right now, and I do have one skill point free, but I don't need it now because I'm still level 23, and it runs out at 24. So I will come back and do that later. So you wouldn't put your points in this. For example, blacksmithing, same sort of deal here. You know, I'm not using any heavy armor or any steel weapons, so I'm not going to waste my points into metalworking. It does allow you to make the base items, okay? But to advance beyond that, you need to actually spend some points in the skill point tree here. So forget about that one. Now let's look at some of the other items. So there's a passive ability called Keen Eye, and what this does is, as you're running around the world, sometimes these things are pretty hard to see. If you spend a point in this skill tree here, as you're running around, a bit of a white smoky flame effect will happen on the material, and your eye goes to it a lot easier, and you can see them, which helps you collect a hell of a lot more. The Lumberjack Hireling, and there's one for each of the professions. What this does is every day you will receive a mail, and there's a little package in the mail that you'll open up and you'll get some raw materials. So I've got one. So if I look at my inventory, I think it's under materials. No, it might be under consumables. There it is. So you get this woodworker's chest, and you get one every 24 hours. Right click on it and use. And today I didn't get a great deal. I've got 3 rough oak. Some days you get something decent, other days you get nothing, or you don't. You get something pointless. And the more you put into it, the higher the materials you get, or the more materials you get. Sorry. So that was for the Lumberjack Hireling. And these are all based on woodworking levels. So you see at the top here, I'm woodworking level 10, and the next one opens, you see there, next upgrade unlocks at woodworking rank 12. And that is gained by creating and crafting items and upgrading items and things like that, and doing research. So what does carpentry give me? Reduces the research time by 5% and allows research of 2 items at once. Now if I put a skill point in this, that research time frame that I was telling you about is reduced significantly. You can run 2 research projects at the same time, which does help. There you go. And resin expertise, which is one that I will be using soon, increases the chance of success. So, where one item gave me 20% chance, the one item might give me 40% chance. Now, I'm not sure what the upgrade is, but any upgrade on that is really good because it's very hard to get the resins, like I explained. So there you go, that's the woodworking tree. Now each of the other trees work in very much the same way, so blacksmithing will have the same sort of upgrades as does making clothes, light armor, medium armor. Now enchanting and alchemy, they work slightly differently. I'm not using those, so I really can't talk to those with any level of confidence there. And provisioning is cooking. And again, it works slightly different, but the main structure of the menu system, it's all pretty much the same. So, you know, there's the tabs across the top and the sub tabs if it has them, and these items that you can check to limit to what you have and what you know. And the cooking one especially is very self-explanatory. It's a lot easier. There's no deconstruction and things like that. There you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. A quick guide on woodworking and crafting items in the Elder Scrolls Online. One thing I will say is that the developers have said that a crafted item will always be stronger than an item you pick up. So if you get good at crafting and you can make the higher level items and you can upgrade them, that item, according to the developers, should be stronger than anything you find in game. So it's definitely worth investing some time into crafting for your class and for your playstyle, be it heavy armor, light armor, and the weapons, because apparently it's going to be a lot better, and you'll get more out of the items. So look, if you've enjoyed that video and it's helped you out, please hit the like button for me, and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching.